Hey guys, Moostash here. Popped over to my local GameStop and was able to pick up some Assassin's Creed goodies. So here we go. We have the Todd McFarland figure for Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard, as well as the Connor Kenway from the Tyranny of George Washington. I'm not going to try to butcher the name there. As well as the new Assassin's Creed 4 Hidden Blade. So we'll get into all these items and we'll be right back. So first we'll start off with the Hidden Blade here. We'll take a look at the box. Look at it here. On the side you get an awesome kind of the shadowy Edward Kenway we've been seeing kind of everywhere. You also do get two pictures of the Hidden Blade, the bracer, as well as the kind of little item you get in there. On the front you do see the Hidden Blade. It says Assassin's Creed on the bottom, 17 plus. It says Pirate Hidden Blade, and then it does have it in the different languages there. Turn over to the other side, you kind of get the same thing. You see the Hidden Blade, you see it on the arm, as well as you kind of see some water splashing. And then on the back is much like the figures. You do get the kind of Series 1 summary of things that they're coming out with. So you have Connor Hatham, a different version of Connor, the Tyranny of George Washington Connor, Edward Kenway, Blackbeard, Benjamin Hornigold, and Black Bart. So now that I've gotten my other figures, the only ones I'm missing are the different Connor, as well as the Benjamin Hornigold and Black Bart. So hopefully I'll get those pretty soon. And then at the top here, you do kind of get a brief summary of what the Hidden Blade Embracer looks like, as well as what it does. It says spring-loaded, retractable blade, blade lock, blade release. So we'll get into the Hidden Blade here. We get a Todd McFarland at the bottom as well on a lot of these, or McFarland toys I mean. But let's get into it. So here we are with the new Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade, as well as the item you get here. This is actually the kind of crest that Edward Kenway wears on his chest. And so that's just held on by like a little clip on the back, which is actually a pretty strong clip. When I saw this, I really thought it was going to be really bendable, but it's actually very rigid. So you see it bend a little bit, not a lot, but it's actually pretty like solid piece. As you can see in the back, it does have like the holes to kind of eliminate all the plastic, but it's still like a pretty hard item. And so we'll put that to the side, and then we'll get into the blade here. So the blade looks really nice. It has a really nice kind of leather look. You got all the creases. It looks like you have that stitching at the top. I'll try to go over this kind of in a closer look in a bit, but it is great. Just like the other Hidden Blade, it does have the lock mechanism, the push down here to release. So lock mechanism is up here, and you just clip that over, and it still pushes in, but you can't release the blade. You can even see the blade kind of retract a little bit and try to kind of push out, but the lock mechanism is stopping it. You do get some of these kind of silver buttons here on top, and then the Velcro piecing. You do get an piece here, which holds the Hidden Blade kind of together. You can choose to either have it held a couple ways. So this is just the plastic piece, much like the NECA Hidden Blade. You do have the separate piece for the bracer and or sleeve. So we'll get over to the blade. So the blade over here, you do get a lot of detail. You got the skull in the middle, you got that Assassin's Creed A. You do have these Velcro straps to hold your arm, and then you do get this other piece. These straps do come off. One thing I did like is that, say you do have it in the way you want, the Velcro straps actually come off up here too, in case you wanted to put your own strapping on there. So you can always just take those off, and then they're completely off, and you can take this out here. So I don't know if you can see it, but there is a groove at the bottom to where you can kind of slip the thing under this other strap under that. It does bend. It's much like the plastic used for the bracer. Same thing with this one. This one does come off as well. and you just kind of have to fish that out of there. And there you go, all the strapping is off. On the back you do have normal screws, which is nice, to where if you did want to put it on, kind of, say you were making your own and all you needed was the hidden blade piece, you could go ahead and unscrew that from the bottom and put your own on there. On the back there is this kind of dip piece here, which, you know, you can just go like that and it takes it off, as well as, you know, you just flip it over. I think it's just so it's a straighter piece rather than that digging into your arm. So we'll take a look at the blade. So we'll unlock it here and we'll just flip that out. That looks really nice. You got the gold there, much like this piece here. Take a look at the back, it's much the same. The blade is bendable just like the NECA version. This one's actually more bendable just because it is a solid piece. To where with the NECA you had the 3-piece system. This one is just the 2 pieces with the holder and the blade. So tip isn't as sharp, but it's a lot more rigid. So we'll just stick that back in there, lock that up. So that looks nice. And so we'll go ahead and go into the comparison between this hidden blade and the NECA hidden blade. So starting off with the bracers here, you can definitely see the difference. This one being more of, you know, it's trying to be simulated metal. This one being simulated leather. But you kind of can see the detail as far as, like, this one is shiny. This one's a lot shinier. As well as you don't get, like, the strapping piece to hold that over, which kind of our other plastic piece for the Edward version we would get. But this one's still pretty nice. I do believe it was nice for what we had with kind of the first run of production on that. And then we'll go over to the hidden blades. So going back to the hidden blades, you have both of them side by side. You can tell the size difference between them. This one is longer, kind of from the top of the piece to the bottom. As well as I said, the blade pieces are different. This one is more kind of molded plastic, to where this one is kind of really bendable. As well as the difference between the locks. The locks are pretty much the same. All you do is move it over. The difference would be that the actual lock mechanisms are switched, to where on this one's actually unlocked right now. The side that it locks and unlocks are different. So that's the difference between those locking mechanisms. But other than that, I want to say they are pretty much the same. You do both have the buttons down here. This one does have the Velcro strapping, but on this one you do not have the option to take off the Velcro, as well as these ones are not screwed down. They're not screwed down, they're kind of just plastic pieces that were put in there, to where this one it does give you the option. And then going back to the retracting mechanism, we'll go ahead and pop these out. As you can see, the difference between the two, the blades are pretty much the same. And like I said, with this one you get a solid piece, and with this one it's a 2-piece system. One thing I did hear with this one, it didn't happen to mine, but it did happen to a lot of other people's, was that this actual piece was breaking and it was kind of unclipping. And I did hear about that. It never happened to mine, but it was just the springs inside were too strong and were pushing it towards the stopper and breaking it that way. And I think the way they kind of combated this was making this whole piece is plastic. Since it's plastic, it kind of doesn't have that problem. But as you can hear, you can still hear the spring in there. But I'm sure they did kind of find a way to stop that. So we'll go ahead and lock these both up. As well as you can see some similarities, like with this kind of gear type piece here, as well as some of the kind of metal piecings to hold it. They're not exactly the same, but they are very similar, kind of showing that they are part of the same kind of universe. One thing I have seen is I've seen people kind of drill through the NECA hidden blade to where it would kind of have that wrist release, which does work pretty well. And I could see it happening with this one too, just kind of finding the right spot. You could probably go through his nose or something. just because they are kind of all on the same release system. Especially with this one, I'm sure you could probably take it apart and see exactly how it works, since they are all screws instead of the kind of one-time close feature. So those are the differences between that. So we'll pop that one back out here, and we'll look at what it looks like when it's on an arm. So here it is on my arm here. Looks pretty good. Much like we said before, you know, it's just on the push button system. If you wanted to retract it, you can do it from your hand here, most likely. It's a little harder, and then you can just pop it back into that lock. Everything looks real nice. This is it without the kind of bracer or anything, which is still pretty good. I like that they had the Velcro on there, but it was more of like the solid, like a standalone unit, to where if you were working on your own costume, you would be able to have your own bracer on there, because I'm sure like you would have the longer piece versus the like just short one. So to put the other piece on, you would just go ahead and grab this one here. In the picture, it does tell you to go ahead and wrap it around the bracer piece, which if you look at some of the game photos, you do see him have it wrapped around the bracer piece, which, you know, is fine. You just go ahead and do it that way, much like you would to do it on the arm. Kind of have it where it's flush. But one thing I noticed was that when you have it on your arm there, you either end up having it under the bracer or over the bracer. And the thing is if you did have the bracer on your arm, you would see it wrap around the blade to where it would kind of come up to the edge, to where you wouldn't want it like this, because then it kind of just looks odd. So what I've found out is with this piece here, since it does give you the option to go around, I don't have it with the Velcro. I use the Velcro just for the arm. So we'll go ahead and Velcro those back up here. And before we do this one, just go ahead and flip that over, and I'll put mine like about here. Take in mind, this is a little hard. This piece here is just a little kind of like nub versus these holes. So this was kind of a problem when I tried to do it the first time. After a while, you kind of will get it down. And then when you go ahead, actually you shouldn't put that on first, but it's under the blade. And then once you put your kind of bracer piece on there, you can go ahead and stick this around. So there it is together. So once you have that there, it's going to be in between your arm and the bracer, and the Velcro is going to be only on your arm, to where it'll look more kind of, if you look at it from this way, it's not going to look like you have Velcro around your arm. It's just going to be like, oh, you know, the strapping pieces look all the same, so it looks pretty uniform. So that's what I like about it, doing it that way. So that is the Assassin's Creed 4 Hidden Blade by McFarland Toys. Awesome find. If you're able to get one, I bought mine from GameStop. I had mine pre-ordered. If you're able to get it, go for it. I think it's cool that it throws in this extra piece here. I wear a vest most of the time, so I kind of just popped that on my leather, or my denim vest. So that's a nice touch. They didn't have to do that. That's kind of a little something extra, as well as if you're trying to cosplay and you don't want to have to like mold the skull or anything. You can say, hey, you know, I can just buy the Hidden Blade and it comes with the skull there. As well as, you know, if you are buying it just for the skull, you get an extra Hidden Blade, or if you're buying it for the Hidden Blade, you get this extra piece here. So I think that's nice. As well as the detail on here is real nice. You get that nice silver skull. Everything looks really like aged. As you can see, like some of the things look beat up on here. And then the leather look on here is really nice. So if you do get a chance to get it, go for it. It's retailed for about $35. Much like the other one, the NECA version. So, Moostash again. Peace! Thanks for watching the review. And if you wanted to see my other videos, you can always check those out at the top there. We have the Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade for Brotherhood, as well as the 3 other Assassin's Creed figures from the McFarland line.